This is the Washington Times front page for Monday, May 15th, 2023. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm George Gerbo. The Department of Homeland Security paroled roughly 2,500 migrants from the southern U.S. border on Friday, a department source told our Stephen Dinan. The department is struggling to handle the situation at the border, where nearly 10,000 migrants a day were entering the country in the run-up to the end of the Title 42 pandemic expulsion policy. But DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas told CNN those numbers have since dropped to 6,300 on Friday and 4,200 on Saturday after Title 42 was lifted. Japan's expanding role as a strategic hub in East Asia comes into sharper focus this week as it prepares to host the G7 summit. Andrew Salmon reports Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida will host President Biden and the leaders of other leading industrial nations for 3 days starting Friday in Hiroshima. That city was destroyed by an atomic bomb during World War II, but the anti-nuclear message that G7 leaders hope to project now is aimed squarely at Russia. Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines says China's government is expanding the use of covert influence operations targeting the United States and is expected to exploit the clash over the debt ceiling as part of anti-U.S. activities. Bill Gertz reports the most recent DNI threat assessment warned that China's efforts are nearing the aggressive intensity of similar covert disinformation operations from Russia. They include the use of intelligence agents, cyber tools, and social media to meddle in U.S. elections, weaken national security laws, and exacerbate domestic divisions. Haines told the Senate Armed Services Committee that U.S. intelligence analysts expect China to use information operations and financial and other moves to exploit the debt limit stalemate. Polls show Americans favor limiting abortion rights to the first trimester in most cases, but since the Supreme Court freed states to craft their own abortion laws, the rush has been to the fringes. Valerie Richardson reports Republican-led states are moving to impose restrictions, and Democratic-led states are hustling to eliminate bans. The result is a burgeoning all-or-nothing patchwork. Texas bans almost all abortions, and in New Mexico, just next door, abortions are widely permitted. Middle-of-the-road states such as Arizona, which draws the line at 15 weeks and 6 days of gestation, are increasingly the exceptions. A former FBI agent claims the pipe bombs planted near the Republican National Committee and Democratic National Committee a day before the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol were inoperable. Kerry Pickett reports Kyle Serafin's account contradicts the FBI's official version that the devices could have exploded any time that day. They were placed outside the two buildings between 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. on January 5, 2021, but law enforcement didn't find them until the following day. The Bureau fired Serafin last month for alleged unprofessional conduct. Former FBI Assistant Director Christopher Swecker said the Bureau sometimes withholds or circulates incorrect information to protect an investigation, though he didn't know whether that was the case in this instance. And finally, Susan Ferricchio talks with 2024 presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. The son of the former U.S. Senator and Attorney General is running as a Democrat, but many of his positions stand in stark contrast to the rest of his party. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.